Hello, and thanks for joining us today on Agile and Nonprofits YouTube channel. I'm Megan Martin, and I'm the Scrum Master of the Marketing and Training team. And today, I am so excited to be explaining and going over what the difference is between epics, stories, and even just simple little tasks. Let's get started. Okay, so here we are in our Miro board. There are so many great tools out there, and I do go over them in a past video that you can go back and check out. I'll link below in the description box. Today, I'm going to be focusing in Miro, and then I can do a quick little overview in ClickUp, which is what our team uses predominantly for our backlog and work and everything else that we do in between our teams. So in Miro, this is going to be your limitless whiteboard. This is a great program to use if you do a lot of brainstorming or want to be really creative with your team. There is no specific way that it is set up already for you. You do come in here and completely create everything that you want your team to work on. You can do the backlog, you could do the daily Scrum for your team. So really you want to be creative. You can also just brainstorm in here and throw some post-its up, a couple different shapes, host trainings in here, whatever you want. The tool is your oyster. So let me start explaining. Today's video is going to be on the difference between the epics, stories, and your tasks. I'm going to very briefly kind of go over exactly what they are, how to organize them, and really just get your workflow into an organized space. So your epics are going to be your big ideas, your giant stories that cannot be completed within one of your sprints. So sprints, you're going to have either 1 to 4 weeks. An epic would be your grand idea. Let's say you're planning for a gala that's coming up for your nonprofit. So the gala itself would be the giant epic. You cannot complete everything that you need to do for the gala in just one sprint. So you would go ahead and create a sticky note. And what's really cool about Miro is that you can color code and make these all different shapes that you would need them to be. So I typically, when I'm creating, my epics are going to be my biggest post-its because I know that those are large. So the nonprofit gala. Huge epic. So the stories underneath are going to be everything that you need to do to get ready for that gala. So smaller post-it, and let's say our stories are going to be blue. So you have to come up with the guest list. And send out invites. And let's say one more would be silent auction items. All right, so that's 3. Let's be honest, we know that the gala is going to need a lot more than just those 3 items. But for the sake of just this quick video, we're just going to go with the 3. So our big epic is the nonprofit gala. These are the 3 stories. This is where you would take those stories with your team during your planning session and estimate those. What does creating a guest list feel like to your team? And then you play either your planning poker or if you do the relative sizing, however your team is creating those estimations. So I'm going to say creating a guest list is an 8. Sending out those invites obviously is going to be a little on the easier side unless your team decides that the definition of done is addressing those invites, stuffing the envelopes and all that stuff. So then that story is quite a bit larger. That can be done in one sprint, but it is large. So you want to make sure your whole team understands the definition of done, definition of ready, and all that stuff for each story before you go ahead and estimate. We do have a video on our YouTube channel, and I'll link that down below also. So sending out invites, let's say that my team has decided that sending out those invites includes the addressing and stuffing of those envelopes. So for, let's say, sending out the invites to, in comparison of creating a guest list, maybe you already have an email list. So that seems like a little bit easier. So printing out, stuffing, and all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead with a 13. And collecting silent auction items seems a little on the harder side, so 21. All right, so our epic has the 3 stories, and then tasks underneath are going to be something that is something that's not estimable. They're the simple little tasks that actually don't go in your backlog because they take less than the 15 minutes that is the rule of thumb that needs to be in the backlog. So you're creating a guest list task might be going through and checking to make sure that everybody's name is spelled correctly. If that does feel a little harder for you, put it in the backlog. It's not going to hurt because then you know you're telling your team that you're already working on that also. Sending out invites, driving to the bank or driving to the post office isn't going to be in your backlog per se, but it is going to be a task to that. So rule of thumb, just to reiterate, is 15 minutes or less is a task that does not have to be estimated. Okay, so let's say you're using Miro for your backlog, and this is your big epic. You have your 3 tasks underneath, and you're ready to bring those into your sprint. So you have your backlog. Should have had this ready. But that is okay. So let's go ahead and use that one. Mistake. Oh, perfect. Okay, so these are all ready to go. This is going to be your Kanban board. So up here would be their obviously your headings that to do, doing, done, and then in review, if you use it, you can add other columns, whatever works best for your team. So let's say this says to do. We know with our team, these 3 stories need to be done. But of course, if you come into it and forget, or you have more stories than obviously just these 3, you're not going to remember that it is for the nonprofit gala per se. So you can create the epic tags, and that way you know that these are going towards that epic. Nonprofit gala. Great. And so this is going to be our epic tag. That is one way to know that these are towards that epic. And then of course you can create as many tags as you would like within your Miro board. Another cool way that Miro is a little bit more on the flexible side is they have these cards, which then you get a little bit more into ways of customizing these. So you can still have your tag. Nonprofit gala will come up here. We know that this is tagged to, we'll say me. And let's say the gala is coming up, but we want this done before that gala, of course. So an internal deadline would, June 30th. We want that completed. We can also go inside of this and create notes. So silent auction items. Let's say we have a dinner for 2 item, and then we have a wine basket. So you can make all your notes inside of these cards. So it's extremely flexible. You can add links and stuff. That way you know that this story goes to this epic. And whenever it's all completed, you know that that epic is done. I have seen some people or some teams have these epics on their own storyboard. So when all the stories from that epic is done, they can move that epic over to done also. And that way you know that that epic doesn't have anything left to do. Maybe it's an epic that is a repeating epic that you don't need to move it over to done. then, you just leave it there and you continue to build things out underneath it. That's what's cool about Miro, is that you can continue to build out and plan underneath that epic. If we went over to ClickUp, it may be a little bit different. You're not going to have that flexibility of having all your epics listed out on a side. However, ClickUp has that customization, of course, again. So you will list out all of your stories. So we have the silent option. We have the mailing invites to do and create. All right, so there are our stories. Actionable items that can be done within that sprint that take 15 minutes or longer is a sprint, or is a story, sorry. So then within ClickUp, you can also have these tags to make it more on the customized side, or you can go into your list view and create custom spots for these. So you'll come in here and you can, let's say, a drop down. You can create an epic, and then you can create your options. So nonprofit gala. You can create this as color coding, whatever you will work for your organization. So you're going to come up here. This goes to the nonprofit gala. And in here, you can actually show custom fields and the epic. And if ClickUp loads correctly. And there you go, your epic shows. So you know that these stories are going towards these epics, and as you move them across the board, you can see that those stories are completed and then that epic is done. What's cool in ClickUp is that you can create an automation that says, once the creating of the guest list is done, that mailing of the invites is ready. So automatically it will create or move the mailing invites into in process or ready to work, or whatever your statuses are that you would like them to move into. There's so much more you can customize with this. We do have another video of building a backlog in ClickUp that I will also link below, and that will kind of walk you through more in depth of creating these stories. But just, to answer the big question that started this whole video is, you have your epic, which is the big stories that you cannot complete in a sprint. And then you have your stories underneath the epic that go into the epic that will be the breakdown of whatever that specific epic is. So epic is too big to fit into your sprint, 1 to 4 weeks. Stories can be completed in your sprint, and tasks are the simpler things that take 15 minutes or less and that don't actually necessarily need to be in your backlog. If they go in your backlog, cool, awesome. You can also create a little tag that says task or something that lets your team know that it's going to take 15 minutes or less to complete that, and it's just in the backlog, so you are letting your team know of what you're working on at the time. I hope this helps. Please leave any questions down below and any other videos that you may need or would like to help you on your Agile journey. Thanks for watching.